Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to Authors Up, a forum for authors by authors. And we are very happy to welcome you to our program tonight. I am here with two of the best co hosts in the world. Miss
Oh,
Victoria Henderson. How are you,
wow.
Victoria?
I'm fine tonight. Thank you for that. You're the best one too. Oh my God.
No problem. You know how it is, girl.
Yeah, I know how it is.
And Miss Ruth Griffin. Good evening to you, Ruth.
Good evening. Thank you for that lovely welcome.
Yes.
We're happy to be here.
No problem. You know how I feel about you guys. So
Mhm.
this could easily be the love fest of the week.
Exactly right.
Because we do care about each other, and it's so good to welcome everybody into our little circle on Sunday evenings. And so, those of you who are watching or viewing, or listening, I should say, we just appreciate you as well, and we are glad that you have chosen this as your spot to be at 7 p.m. on Sunday evenings. So we've got a great show for you tonight. We don't have a guest tonight. We are our own guests
Yeah.
tonight.
Right. That's
And
right.
we got an interesting topic. I'm not going to tell you exactly what it is right now, but sometimes when Ruth is so kind to give us tips and tools, and she gives us marketing hints and all manner of other things,
Yes.
and we're at a place right now where I'm telling you, if you have ever thought about writing anything ever, any kind of book or whatever, this is going to be a program for you, because you're going to need this information. So I'm glad that Ruth is going to bring us something good. She always challenges not just you all, but us as well.
Oh, definitely.
Before we're going to start out our evening like we always do, and that is by talking about our week in review. And Queen Victoria is going to go first tonight.
Gosh, 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 I will. I had a wonderful week. Unfortunately, my mom had to go home, but mom was here for a week, and we had a wonderful time. It was bittersweet. She moved to Indiana and she came back for a visit. And we had two of my nieces had their children blessed at the church. My mom attended and still is a member. She hasn't changed her membership. But it was so nice to just see this next generation bringing their children, to God to be blessed. And it was just beautiful. We ate after church. And unfortunately, my mom got sick while she was here and she
Oh,
had vertigo and she wasn't able to go. And I was torn between, should I leave her? And she said, I've taken the medicine. All I'm going to do is sleep. Go ahead and go. I don't want you to miss the day. So I went, but my heart, of course, was torn. But I went to the service and it was beautiful. And we got back. And then because the grandchildren had not seen her really for almost a year and a half, they came to the hotel and brought the babies to see her. And so that was nice. She got to hold her great grandchildren. And so it was just, like I said, it was bittersweet. And when she left, and I cried, of course. But it was just so we just had a good time. We laughed, we talked, and I just stayed by her side the whole time. And it was just really, really special. So she left Wednesday, and she's been a little down since she got back because that was a big trip for her.
Mhm.
She had to take 2 planes, and so that was a lot. So she said she's been
She
really trying.
traveling by herself?
She did.
Wow.
And she did say that she didn't want to do that again.
Yeah.
That this was like probably the last time she needed to have somebody with her, because she felt like they took her from one plane to the other and they just like left her there. The attendant didn't ask her, did she need to go to the bathroom in between. She just felt alone, and she's frail now.
Yeah.
And so it would have probably, I would have felt scary too, So I'm sure she just was uncomfortable with not being in control of what happens to you.
Mhm.
So we talked about it, and so we don't know how we're going to do that. She wants to come back for my birthday, which is in August, but I don't know. But nevertheless, we had a good time with her, and I've been writing a little bit this week. I was a little inspired to do a little something with my book. And our topic tonight is really going to help with the book. So, I'm not going to talk about the topic, but I'm excited. I just am excited to where I see my story going. So, and I think that was it for this week for me.
That was a good week.
That was a good week.
How about you, Miss Ruth? What's going on in the world of Studio Griffin?
All right. Well, last week I mentioned that I was reading a new book called, or it's not a new book, but it's called The Organized Writer.
Oh,
I'm about halfway through it, and I will tell you, everybody should read this book. If you're a writer, even if you're in business in some sort, it's just the advice that he's got on there. In the book is just, I mean, it's not anything you have to go out and get. It's just stuff that you have to implement, and it does take a
oh,
little discipline. So I kind of spent my week trying to get myself organized.
okay.
Trying. So and his advice, he put it out in the beginning. He's like, look, you just, read the book once, go back, read it again, and then pick a weekend where you're going to implement it. He's like, I know you think you're busy, that you're too busy to set aside a whole weekend to just implement the system, but trust me, you're not, and it will help you in the long run. And I've just been like, oh no, let me try this now. Okay, let me try this now. So I have all my file folders set up here on the side. I even went through last night, put little, official labels on them, and then it's like, well, no, I can't use them because I don't have the project sheet yet. So I'm like, okay, well, I get it now why he said do it over a week. So I am
You was ahead of
trying
yourself a little bit.
a
Okay, okay.
little bit. But again, like I said, this is a book. If you fancy yourself a writer, if you have any kind of business, it has just some practical advice in there that will
Mhm.
help you get to that place where you are efficient and you're running your business, whether it's writing or whatever. um it it it'll help you run it efficiently.
I
And
like that.
yeah, so
I
I
like
would
that.
highly recommend it. The Organized Writer by Anthony Johnson.
Look at that. Writers do read, right?
Mm,
Yeah, writers read.
yep, yep. So that's been my week. Hopefully one of these weeks I will be completely organized, but we'll see.
Okay.
What about you, Andrea?
Well, you know what? I'm thinking about something that we've never really done, and that is, when we have participated in book clubs,
Mhm.
Mhm.
all of us have at some point. You all just got through doing I Am Sarah, which went through the
Oh,
um,
I forgot to tell you about that. We ended on Saturday. We started in January and ended. That was another thing that I did this week. So I completed. We were doing the purpose driven life. It was beautiful with the group of ladies I was doing it with. So that completed this week. I was excited about that.
we've done those kinds of things, but we have never really been through a book together.
Okay.
Well,
And 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 what'd you say?
I was gonna say maybe we should start.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
I would agree.
That's what I
Okay.
was gonna say. I mean, I think it would be good because
Mhm.
we were talking right before
Write
we
it
came
down.
on the air about follow through,
Right.
Mhm.
and there are. there's a book, I think you recommended it to me, Ruth, called Atomic Habits.
Yep.
Did you?
Mm,
Yep, I got Atomic Habits. And I think that that would be a good one
Yeah.
for us to do that with.
All right. Let's do
If
it.
we have any listeners or whatever that might want to hang out and Zoom with us, and we can figure out how we're going to do it. Since you already have it, if you know how we can chop it up, cut it up, or how we need to focus on
mhm.
it and what we need to read by a certain time, I think that would be a good thing.
I agree. Let's do
Okay.
it.
All right.
Yeah, I like that. So you're going to tell us by next week how we're going to roll it out? What's going to happen from here? See, we
Sure.
got these great ideas, so we got to follow through. with these
She
great
she has the ideas, but somebody else has to follow through, right?
ideas.
Well, what's the author again? I got The Organized Writer by
It's organized with an S. He's a British writer.
oh,
Anthony Antony Johnston.
okay. Got you. Organized. Right. Got it.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be on the next book on the list. Yes, ma'am. Got it.
So if I have my book by next week, then well, we have a guest next week, don't we? But that's okay.
Yeah.
We can
Well,
still
no, we
roll
don't. It's
roll out.
Father's Day.
That's right.
Yep. So we'll have a plan by we'll have a plan.
Okay, great.
Okay. So anybody who wants to actively participate in this forum for authors by authors,
That's it. I love it.
let us know. And maybe one of you, definitely will not be me, but one of you can put together some little graphic, that we could put out there to let our listeners and viewers know that we're going to do this.
Okay.
Do you think
I
that
have a
would be good?
plan. Yeah.
You got a plan?
Yeah. No. I'll talk to you about it later.
Yay! Look,
Okay.
look how this just happened. We tell
Yeah.
our viewers all the time. You never know what's going to happen, and we did not know that this was going to happen.
Uh-uh.
I
Every
love it.
now and then things start turning it up in here.
Yeah.
Not always, not often, but every now and then. What is it that the guy on Friends used to say? Not just a hat rack, my friend. Okay, we can review for me.
Yes.
Very brief.
Okay.
Ready?
Yep.
No air.
Oh.
Still no air.
That affected everything that I had to do in my week, for my week, through my week, with my week. Oh, it's a little warm. It's a little warm.
Can I tell you? So a couple weeks ago when you shared that with us, the AC went out like the next day, and I was like, "What is happening?" So my husband, we have a handyman in the neighborhood, and my husband called him and said, "Hey, do you know anybody?" And the dude came the next day, nice older gentleman, and he was like, "Well, I rerouted it, so you have cold air now. You just can't shut it off." He's like, "I gotta order a part," and that was like a week and a half ago. And I haven't heard back from him, so we can't shut the air off. It's a little chilly in here.
Get you a sweater, hon.
I know that's what
It's not chilly over here at all.
Can we blow her some?
It's not chilly at all. So
No.
we really, this is going to be a very efficient session, lest I'm laying out looking like a Hershey bar.
Oh my goodness, Mom.
So do they know what's wrong?
And it's getting hotter.
Do you know what's wrong with your
Staying
unit?
there
Or
like that?
I have been in this house since 1992.
okay.
I moved in 92. So what's that, 30 some years?
Oh my gosh.
And it has never been replaced.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
So
okay.
Hmm.
it needs to be
Hmm.
replaced. The guy said something about when he came out, he said something about the compressor.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
reality is when appliances get to a certain point,
Hmm.
you can't
Yeah.
charge for them.
Right.
Yep.
You
Right.
know, even it was something where we could replace the whatever, you
Yeah. Yeah.
find the whatever
Filter or
because
put some free on it or whatever, you know.
it just don't make it anymore. So I've had this happen one other time, but we were able to fix it or do whatever needed to be done, and all was well. But not so this time. So we are smiling and melting. What is that?
Oh.
In the Wizard of Oz.
Yes, yes. Oh, I am so sorry. And after a while, a fan ain't gonna work.
You know
No.
what? But you know what? And this is crazy, but I sat and I thought about it, and I thought for years I didn't have central air.
Uh-huh.
We didn't have it, you know, and I lived. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
it's not ideal. And now that you have things at your disposal, you want to use them. But if that's the worst thing that happens to me right here in this space, in this time,
You're
it's
still
all
doing good.
good. It's all
You're
good.
still
It'll
doing
be
good.
I
Yep.
get it. I
fan
get
and
what you're saying. I get it. I've had people tell me that too. Well, when you grew up, I grew up in the Bronx in the projects, and we had the air conditioner. I think it was only in my parents' room
In the window unit.
in the window unit.
Yep.
But I don't care about none of that. That's not now. I'm older now. I need to breathe better. I can't do it.
well, I'm learning. Good evening, Lucy. Nice to see you.
Yay.
Nice to see you. I am learning. I know when we lived in an apartment in the city and we had no air, cross ventilation, man. We knew what doors to keep
Shoot.
open, what did
Yep.
to close, and somehow it
Mm-mm.
kept us comfortable.
Yep.
We didn't need a sweater. We weren't in cold igloo weather.
I was younger then.
Oh well, see,
I was younger then.
I don't attribute it to age.
Mm-mm.
I'm
Mm-mm.
just look. I'm so glad that I am alive and know it's hot.
I understand what you're saying. I get it.
Let
And
me
you're
stay in that
grateful. You're
space,
grateful. I
Victoria.
got you.
Let me stay in that space because that's the only thing getting me through.
Sister girl, sister girl, sister girl.
But y'all pray for us, sister. I'm going to have to do something, but I have a in the meantime strategy. So
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm going
Okay.
to implement that strategy, and all is going to be well.
Yep.
But until that strategy takes hold.
Oh God, I'll be
Hey,
praying for you.
Kayana, good evening to you, baby. Glad to have you on the line
Oh,
tonight.
Jesus, be some icicles.
And Miss Ruth, I'm going to turn it over to you. Miss Ruth is going to take us through some things that any writer is going to need at some point in time.
Mm-hmm.
And we are Victoria and I are both in the throes of a lot of it right now. But she has gone through a lot of trouble to put this together, and she is just our education guru. Ruth knows what we need. She knows when we need it, and she's gonna make us grow whether we want to or not.
I was getting ready to say
That's
she
right.
is happy to share it. Okay.
That's right. That's right.
But thank you, Ruth, for all that you do for the budding authors that come on, and for your co-hosts as well, as we take this writing journey along with everybody else. So tell us
That's
what we
right.
got tonight.
All right. Tonight we are going to be talking about choosing a story title. And that
All
is
right.
story is intentional because this could go with, whether you're writing a blog, whether you're writing a book, whether you're writing a screenplay, whatever it is, it's how to choose your story
Good title.
title.
Okay.
So, and I will say, for myself, unless I just have thing, a moment of inspiration where I know what the book is going to be called or what my story is going to be called, I put in working title, whatever it is, and then I don't worry about it until the end. But of course, I've been doing this
Okay.
20 years.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Okay.
if you have not been doing this 20 years, and per se, you may be working on your second fictional novel,
Uh-huh.
or
Uh-huh.
your first, you may have a little bit of an issue. And this is where this topic came in. So, of course, we've been working on the NaNoWriMo challenge, the books that came out of that. And we sat down and talked about your books. And what was one of the first things I told you guys about? Oh, don't give me that. We talked about your titles,
Don't
and
worry
you don't
about
have
the
to share
title.
them. We don't have to share them, but what did I share with you guys?
Don't worry about you know when you talking about when we had our meeting,
Yeah.
you said that we might want to rethink our titles because you did a little research and
Yeah.
some of the titles
Oh
were
yeah.
um
Over.
it was like a lot of the same, some books had the same titles, so we may want to rethink. And what you gave us some steps to do of what to look for the titles, and I did do that. I
Okay.
did do that.
Okay. And then this is important because you want to this your book, unless it is God inspired, and that is another topic. Your discover, but you want to give your book the chances it's got. But if it's
Right.
sharing the same title with about 55 other books
Right.
that you found on Amazon,
That's right.
just think about what people will have to wade through. So,
Right.
I wanted to start off tonight with a little quiz for you guys. So, because I want
Okay.
you guys to understand, sometimes it is what's in the title, and sometimes the title that you end up with is what makes it successful. So, I'm going to give you the working title or the original title of the story, and give you some hints, and you sit there and tell me if you can figure it out.
Are these old movies, new movies?
Everything within I think the oldest one I have is going back about 30, maybe 40 years.
Okay. Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah,
Let's
okay.
go.
So this one was a romance in the 90s. It was originally
Okay.
titled 3000
3,000.
with
I
Richard
don't know.
Gere.
Bon.
Pretty Woman.
Really?
Yes, Pretty Woman. That was the amount that he paid her in 1991.
That's right. It is the amount that he paid her.
That he paid her for the week.
Wow.
3,000. And we'll talk about later why that was not a great title. What about this one? The King of Beasts. It was a cartoon.
The Lion King.
The Lion King. Yes.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. They had a reason they changed that, and it was a very good one. So we'll talk about that one as well. Star Beast. This one's science fiction.
Star Wars.
Nope.
Oh.
Sigourney Weaver.
Oh,
Alien.
aliens?
Alien. Yep.
Oh, I love that series.
Nope.
And it's gonna be Star Beast.
Yes, it was originally going to be Star Beast.
Oh, I'm glad they changed
I'm
that.
glad. Yeah.
Because we got aliens 1 through 6. Star Beast 1 through 6.
So we've got a few more, but Edge of Tomorrow with Tom Cruise. Love that film. It was originally going to be called All You Need Is Kill. Not a great title. Scream was originally going to be Scary Movie, which we know would not have worked, and Rapunzel. Untangled. I'm a semi big Disney fan. It was originally going to be titled Rapunzel Unbraided. So keep all these in mind.
I was looking when we were talking about this. I was looking up, and the Sun Also Rises was originally called Fiesta.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, you'll find that either
really interesting to find out what the original titles were on some.
Wow.
Yeah. So, in having the right title is so vital to the story, and even to the not just the story, but also to the success of the book. I found this story, which I thought I would share, but it back in the early 1900s is the story of Emmanuel Haldeman Julius. He
Mm-hmm.
was a writer and a publisher in the early 1900s. Um, in his publishing company, if a book didn't sell at least 10,000 copies a year, he'd send it back to the drawing board for new ideas until it performed well. So there was one particular book, I could find no other information on it. Obviously, it is out of print, but the original title was Gautier's Fleece of Gold. Under his watch, it sold 6,000 copies a year. And the reason they named it that was because French writing was the rave at the time. Well, he
Mm.
said that's not enough. He sent it back, retitled it The Quest for a Blonde Mistress. Sales shot up to 50,000 books a year. And
I can
his
see
response,
why. 'Cause we want to hear
his,
about this quest.
his response was
Wow.
that the title didn't tell you what it was about. And oftentimes that's what we, that's what
History of it.
the history, yeah, that's the issue with it. Sometimes the title just doesn't say. It sticks with you, and you're like, "Well, this is what I want it to be," but sometimes it doesn't tell you what it's about. So,
Right.
we'll discuss the four crucial elements that make a good story titles. Number one, the intrigue factor. When you're talking about Fleece of Gold versus A
The
Quest for a
quest.
Blonde Mistress,
Yeah, that's intriguing.
yeah. So nothing draws a reader in more than creating intrigue with
Intrigue.
your title. And some
Got
of the
you.
ones that I found, like Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies. Obviously, that's not the classic. Now we have zombies in the title. It's intriguing. You want to read it and find out.
Right.
Another book was Trust Me, I'm Lying, or John Dies at the End. You want to pick up and find out, okay,
Yes.
what
Yes.
happened to John before he died?
Well, we know he died, but what happened?
Right. So, think about intrigue factor. For a good title, you want discoverability.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want something that just mixes in with everything else. Like again, the title, Andrea, that you chose had about 50 other
Yeah.
books
Yeah.
sharing that same title.
Right.
And the thing is, with algorithms these days, if your sales are not where the other books are, you're
You're
going to be
going
at
to
the
get
bottom of the
lost.
list.
Yeah.
So you want to have something that stands out.
Mhm.
Um, Genre pairing. You want to make sure that it is your title matches the genre. You're
Okay.
not, there was one found, a romance book should not be called Warborn Battle of Arrakis or whatever this was. It's not going to say scream romance. So
Sorry.
you want to make sure you want to follow the genre rules. So,
Okay.
and then relevance and specificity, excuse me.
Okay.
You want to make sure that it is relevant to what you're writing about, to the genre, to um, whatever's in your book. So those are the things that you want to take into account when you're, trying to select a book title. So
Mm-hmm.
here are some tips, like we do, um, about how you can select. Like I said, I've been doing this a while, so for me, I have no issue putting in, a working title and then figuring it out later. But as you write the book, read through it, you can use parts of the story. If there's something that stands out, you can use that for your title.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, look up famous phrases. There have been, I try to find, for me, you guys know I love quotes. I will find something that's relevant. And in some cases, I have used part of those quotes as titles for my book because it just fits so well. So
I
that's,
never thought about that.
mhm,
Um, a phrase, a famous phrase.
yeah.
But then there might be books that it's have to look that up too. See if
Yeah.
there's books of
I,
that.
I don't think you can get around that lookup process.
Oh, no,
Yeah,
no, no.
right. Right.
Oh, no. I mean, we're talking about, and honestly, for our published authors who are, whether you go through a publishing company or you self-publish, we're talking about, when the self-publishing boom
Yeah.
happened,
Yeah.
we're talking about what, maybe 60,000 books a year. Now it's over 2 million. So you are competing with that
Yeah,
many books, you cannot get away from searching out there and see what else is out
it's
there.
out there.
Now,
Yeah.
again, if something is just on your heart, that's what you want to title it. See if there's maybe somewhere you can somehow you can tweak it, you know, or something that's kind of sort of like it. So that's something that you can do with that. Consider a
Let me
one
ask you a
word
question,
title.
Ruth.
Yes.
For the books that you help publish,
Hmm.
are you involved heavily in the titling, or do you let the author come up with it? I mean, and is there a time when you have to strongly suggest we shouldn't go with this title?
Um, so far, I've not had that issue. So I
Okay.
will make recommendations if the title is just not working. More often than not, I've had to deal with book covers, and that's another. We'll
Oh yeah,
talk
I
about
was going
that
to
on
ask.
another
I'm
day.
so glad you brought that up because I really want to talk about that too. So,
Uh, we
but
will,
that's
because
not
they
what we're
go
talking
hand
about
in
tonight.
hand. Yeah, that's hand in hand. So,
Yeah.
um, one thing you again, going back to the tips, one thing you might consider is doing one word titles. There's an author in Germany that I read. I love her stuff. She has a series. I don't remember what it's called, but the first book was Cut, and the second book was titled Fog. And then at that point, she realized that, oh no, I'm just going to go with the one word. Book number 3 was Ice. Book number 4 was Vow, and it's a science fiction dystopian series, but each one it fits what she was
Wow.
writing. So
Okay.
again, it's drawing from what you're writing.
I never thought
Um,
about that. I don't know. I'm gonna have to get some thought about that one word. Okay, okay. If I had to give mine as one word, what would it be? Okay. All right. Gotta
and
think about
again, it doesn't always fit because remember, you have to adhere to the rules of your genre. So if you're writing a romance, you're most likely going to have a few words in there. Maybe on average, it'll be 4 or 5.
what they
But,
call it, plump.
with a dystopian novel, you could get away with 1, you could get away with 2, at most 3. Think about, and the title escapes me, but there have been several out there that just utilize the one word. Michael Crichton, even though he passed on in 2008, he just released another book co-written with James Patterson. Title is
Mm.
Eruption. So you
Oh,
can imagine
okay.
what that book is about.
Right, right, right.
But
And
it says it all in the
I
title.
love James Patterson's books.
Might be something good to read.
Okay.
Going back to what we talked about, obey your genre. That's just all it is to it. Just obey your genre. Just add on, research your titles, your genre's titling norms.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we said this already, but this is true of whatever you opt to do. Go out there, go to Amazon, go to Barnes and Noble, go to wherever you get your books and see what is out there already. See how they're
Right,
titling,
right.
see how it's trending, what the titles are, and that will help you make your decision on what to title your book. And of course, check discoverability. Go back out there. And then this one is the best one is test your title for success. For
Mm-hmm.
you go to your readers. If you know that you have a dedicated group of folks who these are the ones who read your books, you know, put it out there. Hey, how does this title work for you? Would you pick it up? Because again, we did old adage, hey, you don't judge a book by its cover, but yeah, no, we all do that.
We
And we
do.
all we all judge
We
the
really
titles
do.
too.
Yeah.
We do. So test it with your audience. See what they think of it. And again, it goes back to the original film names for some of these. Edge of Tomorrow with Tom Cruise was originally titled, like I said, All You Need Is Kill. But they decided to change the name partly because there was negative buzz around the word kill in the
Yeah.
title.
Okay.
You
Okay.
just don't want that out there in an era in America of, you know, mass shootings.
Right.
So,
Right.
Pretty Woman, again, it was originally titled 3000, but that totally changed the tone of the film. You got to obey your genre. And the thing is, if you read about Pretty Woman, it actually wasn't a romance. It had the tone was a lot darker. She was
Oh,
addicted to drugs, and
oh
he
wow.
left her in the end. It was not pretty.
Oh,
So 3000 may have fit, but when they changed it to a romance and they had the happily ever after, they had to change the title.
change the word. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so that it fits. Alien, and this is the one I love the most because they just had they had the working title Star Beast, right? And the author,
Uh, that
he
Star
said,
Beast, I can't see it at all.
well, no, he's quoted as saying, one morning at 3 a.m., he was at a friend's apartment. He was typing away, writing dialogues, and the author and the characters saying, the alien this, the alien that, and suddenly it just hit him. It's like, I should just title this Alien. And
Oh
sometimes
man,
that's
that
what it
alien was
takes.
something else. That was a wildebeest.
Yep. Well, so it was a star beast.
It
So
was.
so sometimes it just hits you like that. Sometimes
Yeah,
you have to go back, even as you're writing, or you have to go back and go, what should this be? What should this be? And it'll hit you once you start reading through it.
right.
So
I definitely taken your advice, and I'm definitely going to change mine. It's
mhm,
from what it was in the beginning.
Mhm.
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
Mhm.
Back to the Future was originally, well, I should say this one. So this one was an interesting anecdote. So, because Spielberg, and he is a big name in Hollywood, obviously, and he
Yeah.
was a big name when he did Back to the Future. And
Right.
for him, the title was always Back to the Future. But they had a
Really?
producer on board who was like, no, anything with future in it is not going to sell.
What?
And well, and again, this is a business where you do have to think about, okay, sales. What is, if it's in the title, what are you know, is that going to sell? And if he had done a study or even listened to Spielberg, he would have known that, maybe Back to the Future was more relevant than what he wanted to go with, which is what
Right.
he pulled from the actual story. Because remember, that was the father in the story was reading a book called Spaceman from Pluto.
Exactly.
So, in a sense, they were both right, but ultimately Spielberg was more right.
Yeah,
And
he was
the
more
movie
right.
was titled the way it should have been.
Because I love 1, 2, and 3. We'll watch them
Yep.
back to back.
Yep. Scream, again, we said it was originally titled Scary Movie, but in this one, take it for what it's worth, because Harvey Weinstein was the producer on this one. So um they didn't care for the title. And here's the thing, if they'd have gone with it, it'd have been competing with other movies. So
Okay, because is
ultimately,
there a movie called Scary Movie?
uh-huh,
There
a
is
whole
some movie,
series,
yeah.
a whole series.
Yeah, I thought
So
so.
it would have been in competition, but Harvey Weinstein, his brother, who's also in the production company, he was watching the Michael Jackson, Janet Jackson video, and he knew at that point that Scream, that was the title for the film. And again, you can get your inspiration from anything as long as it fits with your story. So again, putting the people aside, that is a very valid way to title a movie.
Right.
Lion King was originally King of the Jungle. It was first called King of the Jungle, and then they wanted to go with King of the Beasts, but then they figured out that there was
Yeah,
no
the
jungle.
beast. Yeah,
There
mm-mm.
was no jungle in the story. Very important note. So,
And they
and
want no scary beasts, really.
no, well, I mean,
Not
Scar was
really.
kind of scary.
Scar.
Um, yeah, originally, so they wanted to focus on just one character, the Lion
The
King, and
Lion
that's what they
King.
went with.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Last one, Tangled, and this one is valid. When I first heard it, I thought, Disney's just wants to, cash cow. But
Right.
they changed it so that they could appeal to the male audience
Mm.
because, Disney princesses have traditionally been marketed to girls.
Right.
Now they were wanting to say, look, we want the boy market as well. And
Okay.
ultimately, they had two main characters in there, Flynn and Rapunzel. So
Okay.
it was they had a little bit more of the story that was geared towards boys. They wanted to make sure that the title would not be off-putting. So
So
Um,
what was the title before and after?
the title was Rapunzel Unbraided.
Rapunzel wow. Okay.
Unbraided, yes. And they changed it to Tangled because they felt that that shared more of what the story was about, and it encompassed the dual team of Rapunzel and Flynn Rider in the film. So
Wow.
that is like my second or third favorite Disney movie. Um, I thought it was really well done, and when I read that, I was like, "Yeah, no, that makes sense." Because you want to again, I think it's unrealistic to say, "Oh, I want everybody to read my book." No, not everybody reads your type of genre. But if you have a story that is all encompassing like that, you do want to make sure that the right people are gonna lean towards, are gonna not be off put by the title and go, that's all right.
What's your first favorite Disney movie?
Lion King.
That is your first your
Yes.
your favorite?
That is my favorite. When it came out, I went to the theater 4 times. I found little kids to go take to the
Take
theaters
a
just so I
movie.
could go watch. My
I know
nephew, my
second.
niece. I was
We
like,
know
"We need to
your
go see
third,
this."
but what's your second?
Second is, well, I mean, Pixar. I don't know where it falls. They're owned by Disney, but I think
Right.
they're on a second one. So the first one is Lion King. I think Tangled is the second one, and then you get into Pixar. I love Finding Nemo. I love
Yes.
Inside Out. So
Yeah.
those
Yeah.
are my movies.
Okay.
I could watch those all the time.
I love, love, love. I love Lion King, and it just man. Oh, Beauty and the Beast. I love me
No,
some.
that is
I
a
can
good
watch
movie.
that all the time. I love it. I love it. I love the music and everything. Y'all know me with the victory story.
But the title is fitting for that as well because that tells you exactly what it's about.
Right.
Beauty and the
Right.
Beast.
The Beauty
Yep.
and the Beast. Yeah. See,
So,
I couldn't name my book that.
but no, hopefully those tips will help you come up with an apt title for your book, or for your story. Like I said, whatever
Yeah.
it is, whether it ends up, just even for your blog. When I was doing a blog, one of the things I did, I was always, unless I already knew what I wanted the title to be, I would just wait till the end, go back through and read it, and then, okay, what is this about?
Right.
What is in the story? Is there a quote? Something, it's just they're questions that you can ask yourself. If you use those tips, you'll come up with the best title for your story.
Right.
That's what I got for you.
Hey,
So
that's a lot.
Mhm.
yes, it was.
Yep, I should have told you guys to get pen and paper and take notes. There'll be a quiz next week.
Could- I'll,
Either
I'm
that or
gonna
you're gonna have
answer
to
it. I'll
send.
answer it.
Either that or you're just gonna have to put it into practice and send me the new title for your books. So
I'm just gonna keep my notes.
There's some titles that I wrote down that were intriguing to
uh-huh.
me.
Uh-huh.
Um, like Streetcar Named Desire,
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Cat
Mhm.
on a Hot Tin Roof.
Oh.
And a kid cloudy with a chance of meatballs.
Meatballs.
Oh.
Yeah.
One of my favorites of all time, The Devil Wears Prada.
Uh-huh.
See, I think
Uh-huh.
that's a great title. I just never liked the story.
I loved it.
Oh.
Yeah.
I
That's what I
enjoyed
Oh,
kept being
my
told.
But
people,
know,
my people in here love that one.
when you talk about getting quotes from things,
Mhm.
there's a quote that I always held on to for a variety of reasons. But it was, no matter where you go, there you are.
Mhm.
Wow. Wow.
But the title of the movie that it was from was The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai Across the Eighth Dimension.
Wait a minute.
The Adventures of
Now, see,
Buckaroo Banzai Across the Eighth Dimension.
that's long now. That's long.
I
Let's
know.
see.
I was looking up things to see what some of the longer titles were, because it was talking about make sure you don't have a title that's too long for the book cover.
And what about Devil in a Blue Dress, right? That's a food child.
Now,
This has been very, very interesting. And um, I came up with something, and I'll run it by you, Ruth.
uh,
I think that this is something that we want to revisit as we take this journey
mhm,
in getting these books done.
yep.
That we don't forget, like Victoria, for you and for me as well. I want to write down the iterations of these titles
Mhm.
and also these covers, because the cover says as much
Oh
as
yeah.
the title. And I remember even when I was doing Nanny Nuggets, I had picked out several titles, several covers. Ruth had given me some choices of some things, and I happened to be in church with Jasmine. And the photographer was there that evening, and I said, "Take a picture of me and Jazz," and she did. And I was looking around because I was hoping that I had had the book right at my hand to show
Oh,
you, but it had a picture of me and Jazz, and I asked several people to choose, and everybody chose the picture of me and Jazz.
Yep.
And that is not the one that I wanted to use. I
wow.
wanted to use another one. And my coach said,
I was looking
"You
for it
don't
too, but of course
ask
the rule.
people
Yep.
who have expertise in an area for their advice and then not take it."
Yep.
Wow. Wow.
So the cover became the picture of me and
I
Jazz.
love it.
And I cannot tell you the number of people that had said to me when it was released, "I got it because I love the picture. I love the cover.
Mhm.
There you
I love
go.
the cover." So we have the opportunity to have an expert in our midst, Miss Ruth. I can't call you Dr. Ruth because
Oh,
Nope, that's something else.
that's a whole nother
That's something
show.
else.
but but Ruth has expertise in this area. The tips and tools that she gives us are solid,
exactly.
and we really, really need to be sure that we are incorporating these things in our writing journey. So thank you so
Mhm.
much, Ruth, for
Well,
what you
can
have
I share?
given
Can
us
I share my titles? I want to see what everybody thinks.
today.
My,
Okay.
my original title for the book I'm writing now is, it's a love story. I was going to call it "Love Always Wins," but Ruth said I might need to check on that.
Ruth said no.
Ruth said no. There you go. Clear, clear.
So the working title now is "See Me with Your Heart," and I did look
Oh,
that up, and I don't see a lot with it. So I might still work on it because Ruth didn't give it the final stamp of approval yet. The way she's looking at me.
no, 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 no. I want to make sure that the story, because I think that is an intriguing title. See Me with Your Heart.
Okay.
I love it. I just want to make
Okay.
sure that you somehow make reference to that in the story and that you
Right.
somehow, you incorporate it in. Because I love that title. I love it.
Okay. All right.
So,
I like it too. And it's not, I haven't seen another book with the title. I
all
looked,
right.
but I did not. It is not. I looked in, I did a Google search, then I went on Amazon book titles, and it's a little series with "Can You See Me?" Something like that. But it's
Uh,
not, I did not find "See Me with Your Heart."
yep.
So what do you think, listeners and viewers? Tell me what would you buy? "See Me with Your Heart."
If you read romances.
Let her know. Let her know.
Yep.
Well, I think that is it for us
Yep.
for tonight. Ruth, I know that you shared a lot, but you know what you always have to share with us at the end of the broadcast. So tell
Yep.
us where people can find us.
Absolutely. So we are on social media. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. You can just look up Authors Up or Authors Up Show. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you follow us and leave comments. We love to hear from you guys. You can also email us at authorsup@gmail.com, whether you have a question, you have a query, you're interested in being in our show, you have a book you want to send us an email. We'd love to hear from you. So Um, if you miss the show, if you want to rewatch it, we are on live on. We have a replay on Saturday nights here on Facebook. If you're not a Facebook fan, you can go to either download our podcast or you can also catch us on YouTube. Everything is up by Wednesday of the week, and you can catch this show or any of the previous ones. There's more tips, more author interviews, more just us doing what we do. So make sure and follow us.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're
And
welcome.
when Ruth says, just us doing what we do, you know what I always tell you, you never know.
Never know.
Never know what is going to happen when you tune into Authors Up. We got a challenge tonight, something we're going to do, and Ruth's going to put it together for us, and we're going to do a book club activity, become better writers that are organized. That's it.
right.
Be organized. So whether you think you've got it all together, whether you're just starting, whether you don't know if you can write a story or not, trust me, there's one in you, and Ruth's going to help pull it out, but we're going to do it in an organized way. How about that?
Right.
That sound pretty good? I hope so. So this is our favorite place to be on Sunday evenings at 7 p.m. We hope
Absolutely
you
is.
make it yours as well. So have an absolutely amazing week, everybody. And I know next week is Father's Day, but
Mhm.
we will still have a program next week. Not going to
Yes,
tell you
ma'am.
what it is because we don't know.
Yes,
It'll
we
be
do.
a surprise.
Yes, we do.
No, we don't. No, we don't.
Come on back, see what we got for you, because we're going to have something great for you next week as well. So have a great week, a wonderful week, and we will see you next Sunday, hopefully at 7 p.m. for another edition of Authors Up.
Good night. Night, Bronze Girls.
Everybody.
Good night.